Hey y'all, welcome back to CodyCrafted. We've got another awesome GX build for you. Victory bumper, Baja Designs lights, of course. Oh, and by the way, new merch. Jump on, check it out. Let's go build something cool.
Click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you would like more content, follow social media at CodyCrafted on Instagram.
That was 3 songs. Drink You Away by Justin Timberlake, Wrecking Ball by Eric Church, and That's Where I Found God. Yeah, that's how long that took. I might have done a few of these. All right, I gotta go pick up some stuff from the laser cutter. Garrett and Dan are gonna take over starting on this project and getting things put together for us. I also have to run up to CB Adventure Supply and get our Switch Pro. They're good friends of ours if you don't follow CB Adventure Supply. And if you haven't seen our spare tire carrier video, we'll put a link to the description in that one, where we built them a really cool spare tire carrier that'll handle a 40 for their really cool Power Wagon. All right, it's the next day because things happen. So we went to mount the winch and the front bumper to test fit it on here. I knew there was going to be some interference with this Warn winch. If you're not running a Warn VR 8 or 10, you may not have this problem, but we are running the Warn VR 8, and so we had a problem. The power steering cooler, which is just kind of a fat piece of hose line that runs across, it was getting shoved up into this bracket with the control box on the winch. So what I did was called down and from O'Reilly's, got this Hayden oil cooler. It's a little power steering cooler. It's part 1009, and it did not quite have enough hose, but we just took that out of the loop and then added this. I could have just run a rubber hose back across there, but I wanted some cooling effect, so that's what we did. At this point, we should be good to mount the fascia portion, the upper portion, back on. You'll notice I secured it with some P-clips here, and kind of bent this one out so it doesn't rub on that part of the cowl there. I mean the core support there. In order to get these little zip tie things, the foam goes in between, by the way. We just undid the mounts on the evaporator or the condenser, and the top corners, and then the bottom little clippy pieces, and then just kind of pulled it out and then just kind of fed them in through. It is not my favorite way, but in all reality, that's a very light deal. We secured the hoses. I'm not worried about it. Everything's gonna be great. So at this point, we're gonna put the front fascia back on, and then we should be able to hang the bumper. Okay, at this point we're putting our parking sensors in. By the way, do not drop these, they're like 300 bucks a piece. So there's two different styles. You got this one, and you got this one. You see this one's got the little tab on it and such. So the tab is for the center ones. They have these little retainers that go in the front bumper. Normally in the front bumper, it goes in like this, in and down, and it locks into place. Well, Victory sends these rubber O-rings or grommets, which work pretty well, but the problem is in the front with the tab, it doesn't really give you anything to grab onto, and they tell you to pull this rubber off and silicone it and do all sort of stuff, and I don't want to cut these. So here's what I came up with. What we're gonna do is, I got a big step bit. This one goes to like 1 1/8 inch. It's just one we use for like punching firewalls. And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna take one step down. I wanna go about half the thickness. And this is just aluminum, so it doesn't take a whole lot. Okay, so you notice we didn't go all the way through. I'm not trying to make the hole bigger. What I'm trying to do is give clearance for the little spring tabs on the back so that they can grab on, and then these little retainer tabs on the side right here. So here's how this is gonna work. This goes in like this. Just gotta kind of squish it, and it locks right in. And then we're gonna hook our, and that clips right in. You don't have to worry about those falling out. Nice, slick mounting. On the outsides with the deeper sensor, they're telling us you can pull this out. I don't like trying to yank this little rubber grommet out, or this little rubber seal out of here. This one we've already got mounted. It's nice and pretty. The stiction of the rubber holds it in just fine. But I am going to put a little dab of silicone on the back side, just black RTV, just to give it a little bit of insurance. But the way I find is best with these, and these point down, the way these go, is glass cleaner. Because this tries to pull back on you, and this will dry out. So I've already cleaned them. So give it a little squirt of glass cleaner. Give that a little squirt of glass cleaner. And then you got to start at an angle a little bit and just kind of wiggle it. Wiggle it.
just a little bit. I wanna see you wiggle it, just a little bit.
And you can see from the front side, I'm gonna show over here. You see from the front side, it tries to fold that little rubber back, but it'll stay. And you just gotta kind of twist and push. If you try to put your palm flat on it or heel of your hand, I have to fight with them every time. It's always like this. But you don't want to drop it and you don't want to bang on it because it will jack it up. I've seen rock chips kill these back when I worked at the dealership. And then it'll stay. Plug our harness in, and then we'll let that glass cleaner dry out. With the alcohol in it, it does a really good job of just kind of fading away. And then we will put a little pookie on the backside once that dries out. That way, just a little bit of insurance to keep that from falling out. So we got a little zip tying action to go here, and then we'll get this puppy put on. Okie dokie, so we got about a little 1/4 inch gap or so here. We actually want a little bit of gap. ARB actually calls for 3/4 of an inch of gap on cars that are body on frame, because the body mounts wiggle, jiggle, jiggle, and we don't want it rubbing the powder coat off. So the front actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it, but right in here, it got tight on this corner. It's really hard to mark this corner because it's compound. So it's going this way and this way at the same time. So anyways, it's tight. I've already trimmed the other side, but the only way to really do this is tape everything up and get a nice sharp razor blade and just come in and just score it. I mean, I'm taking off very little, but what I don't want to do is use a power tool and jack up the powder coat or zzz on the paint.
3 hours later.
Alrighty. So we got a little extra weight in the front end with the winch and the bumper and all the fun stuff. Customer's not really ready to go ahead and dive off into a full suspension right now, just according to his plans. Not a problem, no big deal. So we're gonna do something real simple. These are Davidson's top hat spacers that actually are just for lean. They're only a 1/4 inch thick. We should get a 1/2 inch or so out of the front end, roughly. but just a quick something to make a nice adjustment, just to help kind of offset things. The plan is to do full suspension later on, but I think we're going pretty far down the road when it comes time to that. And these tires are in really good shape, and he's gonna change tires and do all that jazz. So anyways, whatever. It's his budget. We just need to offset the weight of the winch with the stance a little bit. We don't want the front end sagging. So 1/4 inch top hat shims it is. Just gonna try to make this real quick and easy. Hey, there you are. All right, so we have picked out the wires that we're gonna use. We only got 2 circuits we gotta deal with. So we got 4 wires here. We got circuits 1 and 4 is all we're using right this time. So yellow wire, brown wire. Blue is ignition trigger, and black is ground. And these all go, so the rest of the harness, all the rest of the circuits and the triggers and all the stuff, we bundled them up in here so we can tuck this away and get to it later easily. This all goes on our Switch Pro 9100 8 circuit switching system. This stuff is like dead nuts reliable, super mucho bueno. We love using these, they're great. And this also gives us a nice mounting surface from STHQ, Super Duty headquarters out in Arizona. They make some really cool stuff. They got all kinds of heavy duty battery terminals and all kinds of fun junk, rock sliders and bed cages and pre-runner stuff. Yeah, I like all that crap. So anyways, Switch Pro in here. Okie dokie, so we popped out the center console. This is the rear towards the headliner. There are 4 clippies that hold it in. Just make sure you wash your hands because the roofs are usually pretty light color. And grab it at the front and pop it down. Then move your hands to the sides, pop down again, and it'll pull out. And then your plug is right here. So once you got that out of the way, you're gonna remove the sunglass holder and mirror. Easiest way to do that, the latches.
If it bends the bracket a little bit, I'm not.
Latches go right here with a screw, just Phillips head screw. Take those out, and then on the, let's see, yeah, on the driver's side of it, there's a little gear, and it clips in. You can open it, and then just use a pick and go right down in this spot, and it'll pop that gear out, and you just pull all this out. This is all going in the trash. So we're gonna mount our Switch Pro's overhead keyboard mount, keypad mount. This is a really cool rig, 3D printed. It's real nice. You can dye this to match. Chose not to on this one. Only comes in black, by the way. Just be aware. It's like a Model T. You have any color you want as long as it's black.
You can have any brew you want, as long as it's a Corona.
I need to loosen these, and it's gonna sit up in here, So let me grab a little socket. Okay, due to the nature of the 3D printing, this thing's a little tight, so we're just gonna take a little bit of sandpaper, just kind of open up these corners just a little bit, being real careful not to gouge the surface. The long flats are good. It's just the radius is a little off. And this is just a, I don't know, like some 150 or something. Not much. And it just looking good. See, it's just a little snug. Yep, a little more. There it goes. Just a little tweaking. The dude is in there though. Just gonna put the slightest dab of Loctite, blue, not red, on these guys, these little studs. Just the slightest little bit. And 5/16. Just want to put a little pressure on them. Nothing crazy. Yeah, just enough to hold it in there. You don't want anything, you don't want to overstress it. You notice it puts a little bit of a radius in it, but just when you can feel some resistance. We don't want it rattling. Okay, got that. Now we got to get this plug through here. So it means time to drill. Don't drill here. Don't drill here. Drill here. Look, there's a nice circle right there, ready to go. Here's right in the middle. About that big. Probably good. One more. That's good, for good measure. So the little square nuts go right here. Same deal, get a pick. Pre-position them. The 3D printing just kind of holds them in there, so that's nice. But having done this a couple of times, you do want to make sure they're kind of pre-centered. You don't want to fight it. As you can see, the bolts line up nicely with the holes that are already there. All right, so anyways, you bolt this thing together, and then we gotta chase the wires to the dash. Oh, hi. Now that we've got all our stuff prepped, under the hood's prepped, we ran our battery cable, I'll show you that in a second. And we've got our push button-y apparatus overhead console prepped. It's currently still on the bench over there. We gotta run our wire. So, you just use a edge of your pocket knife or a panel popper and pop these little dudes off. This is a 10. And I put on fresh gloves to keep my dusty hands from getting this parchment interior from getting dirty. So right up here, and just pop that out. So while we got that apart, should be able to fish some stuff through there. We're gonna pull the knee bolster. Show you that. Okie dokie, so to get in, we're coming from the firewall up the A-pillar. We gotta get back in here. So just take this guy, give him a little pull. Just like that. And then this side piece also, just to give yourself a little bit of room. Just work your fingers underneath it. And it'll pull right out of there. Let's see. Okay, so that gives you a little room to work. I'm gonna try to fish that dude right up in here. This side piece doesn't really matter because you can't get in there. There is already a harness that runs up the A-pillar. Back in there, there's a harness, that white connector. So that panel comes off, and then just take this top vent and you just kind of pull it towards you. And that helps get this A-pillar where you can get to it. And then roll away. And roll to you. Okay. Alright, so now we've got enough room to try to slip something up through here. And we got to work up the A-pillar. And then the good news is we can just tuck it. We shouldn't have to pull the headliner stuff. Usually you can just kind of work it in there. So we'll get that going. Alrighty, right next to the master cylinder, you will see near our switch pro setup, there is a big round grommet and that little teat hanging off of there with the letter W on it. Underneath, you can find it right there. And you see the little hole coming next to the hood release cable? I don't know if you can see it from the angle. There's a little hole coming through there. So we got a tool for this that we've been using for, I can't even tell you how long. This is the antenna off of a, I don't know, old Chevy pickup or something. And you sharpen it to a point. And then you use this, you poke it through stuff. And it's nice and long. So that's what we're gonna do. And then we pull the wires through. Okie dokie. Well, we got our antenna shoved through. Comes up right here. And we got our harness taped to it. I did have to de-pin the harness. And I took a picture to make sure that it went back together the way it was supposed to. I de-pinned it using this tool right here. This is for Molex Mini Fit Junior. Molex Mini Fit Junior Extraction Tool K-Connect 1103044. K-Connect. We'll put a link in the description. That thing was $8, $11, something like that on Amazon. Or Amazon affiliate link down in the bottom. Click that. If you mess with Switch Pros a lot, you need that. It was for a transmission controller was the last time I needed it. And I spent minutes and minutes and minutes picking the pins out. It was bad. We want some lube on this. So we just use spray away glass cleaner. Use this all the time. Untape this. We don't want to just yank this out here because we don't want to mess our pins up. I may have the de-pinning tool, but I don't have the crimper. Okay, groovy. Alright, and we'll put those back in the connector. We'll check our pins. Make sure we didn't tweak anything up. Looking pretty good so far. The little arrowheads can be bent out with a pick if need be. That's what catches inside the plastic body. But we can feed this through everywhere else otherwise. So we'll put that back on. Alrighty, well, we got her snaked up through here. It was not very easy, but it had to come out through here and then up this way, and then this funky little pink tweeter wire was a pain in the rear. Didn't want to make that turn for some reason. Here's something to be careful of. Side curtain airbags. That thing blows. It's going this way, down. So don't put your wire under this or in its vicinity. You want to go over the top of it. So I just tucked it up here. This tube right here, yes, that's a tube, not a wire. That is for your sunroof drains, so make sure you don't pinch that. Just got it kind of tucked in here. I did wind up pulling the mirror, the vanity mirror, just to be able to get this to pull down just a little bit. I couldn't really get it to tuck in, but once I got that part down, it tucks in, and then it's actually a little loose right here in front of the mirror. So now we're up in this side. We got a pretty good little loopy-doo here. I'm gonna have to circle the wagons on that deal. I have actually had good luck making sure it doesn't rattle, because that's a big thing for those of us that former Lexus technicians. Rattles are a big thing you want to avoid. So I've had good luck just kind of chasing it that way and then bringing it back, so that way it can't sit there and flippy flop, because that'll cause a rattle. So you can kind of shove it up in there and that'll keep it taut, which is the key. So now we gotta put this interior back together. Yay. Oh, hi gang. So this cool washer reservoir apparatus right here fits 470s, does not fit 460s. They need to make it a little bit wider. Here's the deal. That hose right there,
Too close.
that hose that you see right there gets pinched. Anyways, that hose gets pinched, and that is the hose for the headlight squirters. And so it's not gonna work if we leave that in there. But we found some spacers. And it's, oh yeah. Maybe not the absolute slickest deal, but the customer was looking forward to having this. Because a lot of people don't like seeing the washer reservoir. And I don't blame them. So I think that,
I'm assuming they also don't want rocks to destroy their washer reservoir.
yeah, that too. But it's, mostly it's just kind of ugly. So in our stash, we had some about 3/4 inch long aluminum bushings. And those are gonna work just fine to hold that out, because all we're doing is keeping the thing from falling off. It's on there pretty stout. So note to the homies at Victory, if you'll make this thing like 3/4 of an inch longer, it'll fit 460s too. All right, we're on the tail end of things here. I just want to show you guys, you know, you got to free spool the winch in order to pull the line, because you don't want to have to waste all that battery running it out 50 feet to grab the tree that you need. So we always try to take a hole saw and just cut a nice, well, 2 bites of this, and then trim the edges so you can reach down in there and unlock the clutch on the winch. Oh, our winch, you say? Yes, as a matter of fact, we did put a Factor 55 flat link E in bougie red. That's right. All that stuff's all hooked up. Our Switch Pro is finished up. We can run inside and show you that. Went ahead and added for the backlight, you know, our S8 from Baja Designs, and of course the big light bar. The Baja Designs Squadron SAEs are wired on the factory fog light switch, so that way they work just as they would under factory conditions. Of course, we got those in amber, because amber does better in bad weather. All right, so as you can tell, we've got the skid plate portion in the front that comes with as part of the bumper, but beyond that, we've opted for the Victory engine skid, and this thing's really beefy stout. We've done a bunch of these over the years, and they're fantastic. They work really good. I see them come back with big gouges and nicks in them, but they're never dented. So big fan of you know, armoring up protection over spending money on other stuff that you may not need to. So all right, so that's a wrap on this one. Let's do a quick walk around here at the tail end. Of course, we got all-terrain tires, because you got to have traction before you have anything else. Working around the front, we've got our all-aluminum Victory 4x4 strike bumper. Baja Designs Squadron SAE, street legal, wired on the factory fog light switch, so they work just like stock. Continuing on around, Baja Designs S8 20-inch bar. This thing is like 20-ish thousand lumens. It's killer, 18,000 lumens, something like that. It's like having the sun in your front pocket. Warn VR8 winch. We've got the synthetic blind and Factor 55 flat link E in super bouge red. Client's already got his Rhino rack installed. We did, to offset the weight of the winch and the front bumper, we did add Davidson's top hat 1/4 inch shims that we would use to level normally. So just a little bit to get that front end back up to where it was. Suspension is in the works for later on. Today's just not the day. On the inside, controlling all of our lighting and our future circuits, we've got a Switch Pros 9100 8-switch system with SDHQ mount and overhead console mount for the buttons. I'm trying to think of what the keypad. We got the SDHQ keypad mount. That's what that is. It's 3D printed. It takes up the sunglass holder, and it works freaking cool. Of course, the Switch Pro is mounted under the hood, out of harm's way, tucked in nice and neat underneath along the side of the firewall there. Of course, our winch mounting and our Switch Pro wiring ready to roll. We cut a nice access hole so you can get down in here and unlock your winch if you have to. That's about it for this one. It's a bunch of work to put it all in, and it turns out really nice. There was a whole lot of cutting going on, and if you didn't see it, you better back it up. We appreciate it, guys. Y'all like, subscribe, share. Check out the new merch, link down in the description. And if you saw anything here that you like, shoot us an email. If there's something we can help you with on your project, don't hesitate to shoot us an email, sales@CodyCrafted.com. Check us out. Follow the other videos. They're up here. They're over there. I don't know. The editor's going to put them in there. Just click on them. Watch the stuff. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.